call. Amy Tronjo's present, Betsy Ross,
Present.
Michael Batts,
Here.
Oriana Camacho,
Here.
Melissa Samborski,
Yes.
Amy Regner,
Yep.
and Michael Faber.
Present.
Please stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we have the two new members take their oaths of office.
If we want to just start with Mrs. Regner, if you would, please read from where it says "I," your name, down to the part that ends with "best of my ability."
I, Amy Regner, having been elected or appointed to the office of Wilmot Union High School Board of Education, but have not yet entered upon the duties thereof, swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin, and will faithfully discharge the duties of said office to the best of my ability.
Mr. Faber?
I, Michael Faber, having been elected or appointed to the office of the Wilmot High School Board of Education, but not yet entered upon duties thereof, swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin, and will faithfully discharge the duties of said office to the best of my abilities.
All right, welcome to the school board.
Welcome.
Glad to have both of you.
Okay, we'll move on to election of officers, and I'll turn this over to Dr. Floyd.
Okay, so we've got 4 offices to fill: president, vice president, clerk, and treasurer. In your board packet, there's a description for each of those. And the way we'll do this is we'll take nominations, starting with the president. Is there a nomination for the president for the next 12 months?
I nominate Wayne.
Oh, I second it.
Are there any other nominations? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, Mr. Tronjo, congratulations, you will be the president.
Good job.
Okay, we'll have nominations for board vice president.
I nominate Betsy Ross.
I second.
Any other nominations? Any other nominations? All right, any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, next will be board clerk.
I nominate Loriano.
I
Second.
second.
Thank you.
Any further nominations? Any further nominations? All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Board treasurer.
Nominate Mike Metz.
I second that.
Any other nominations? Any other nominations? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, congratulations.
All right, we don't have to change nameplates.
All right, we'll move on to the consent agenda items.
Okay, so just one thing I want to touch on here. It's not part of the consent agenda item, but we do have 2 paraprofessionals who will be retiring at the end of the school year. So I want to thank Denise Mullenbeck for 21 great years of service to the district, and Danette Cates for 25 years of excellent service to the district, both retiring. Going to be greatly missed, and we wish them the best.
All right. Is there anything else in the consent agenda items?
No.
All right, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda items as presented?
I make a motion.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Announcements.
No announcements tonight.
All right, reports. Acknowledgements by the board.
Mine's a little late, but thank you anyway.
Anybody else?
No, just welcome aboard to the members, new
Yes.
members.
Welcome.
Looks like great to be a full team.
Yes,
Mhm.
it's nice.
I would like to thank everybody that helped us with the search for the new district administrator.
Oh, yes, thank you.
The staff that helped us,
Yeah.
they were very helpful. They asked good questions, they gave us good feedback. The administrative team members that participated were awesome, like they always are. And I think everything went real well.
Mhm.
Okay, if there's nothing else, we can go on to student government.
Alright, well, wasn't that long since I saw you guys, so not much has been happening. Thursday, our academic team went on to nationals. Woo-hoo for them. We don't know the results, unfortunately. However, I'm sure our team did great as always. I hope they're number one, but we shall see. Now this Saturday, our juniors and seniors will be putting on their dance shoes and going to prom. It's my last senior prom, so woo, excited. And now finally, not this week, but next week is AP week starting up. So teachers, parents, please be understanding when your student comes home looking like a zombie, because it's gonna be tiring. So that's all I have to say.
All right, leadership team.
I want to thank Kate Lucchese. I know I saw her before, but she did a great job putting the spread out here tonight to celebrate our new district administrator and our new board members. So thank you to Kate and Ta Her Foods for that. I also don't have a lot to report. It's only been 6 school days since we last met. But I did want to share that Mr. Tronjo and I held orientation with our 2 new board members. Both are experienced school board members, so they made it really easy for us. We had staff in service this morning and parent-teacher conferences this afternoon. This morning, the staff participated in Stop the Bleed training for traumatic injury events where there's significant blood loss. And then our teachers reviewed and reflected on their first semester standards-based grades, their second semester goals, and standards alignments within departments. We also have our project design kickoff meeting with Nexus Solutions for the referendum scheduled next week, so I'll update the board in May with our progress and next steps. And that's everything I have.
Will we get a report on how they felt their grading went for the first semester?
We didn't collect feedback in that way. We had them review the first semester grades, reflect on that, they answered some questions, and then they discussed alignment with their teams. But we didn't solicit feedback from the staff on the professional development today.
Okay.
Okay, special ed.
Yeah, I'd like to invite our Director of Pupil Services, Mallory Drew, to the podium to present the new curriculum resource, Ori Learning.
Thank you. We did some exploration this year. I got a lot of feedback from our teachers about how do we address the needs of students that have those social and emotional learning needs, the executive functioning, the behavior, and a little bit of everything in between, including transition. So after a lot of thought and working with the teams, we identified that we have a lot of students that require those services, and we don't have a core resource that we can use to really provide high quality instruction. So currently they use a variety of different curriculum resources to address the different needs, and given the different resources, there's kind of a lack of continuity in the instruction and making sure that it addresses all the needs of the students that we have coming in front of us. So based off that need, I looked at some different curriculum resources and found a resource called Ori Learning, and I brought it to my special ed staff and had them explore the curriculum. We had a little trial version to look at and see what the platform looked like, to see if it would address the needs that we currently have in our building. And going through that, there were so many different positives of having a curriculum resource that we can customize to the individual needs of our kids, to the individual groups we have, because we have multiple different groups. It's not just one at a time to work for this, starting small and make it bigger if needed. So that's kind of what we're looking at doing. So we're in the early stages. You can go to the next slide. of doing this. I've had meetings with RE Learning, and some of the things that sold us, both myself and our special ed teachers, is that has a lot of engaging lessons that are connected to ORI, can be assigned individually to kids through Google. Very easy to implement. The scope and sequence is individualized to the district, and I just got on a call with them today about how we're actually gonna have a couple different versions of the scope and sequence, because the needs of some of our more significant learners are different than our kids that are fully integrated. And how we deliver the service of ORI learning will vary by the kids' need. Other key components are progress monitoring data is really quick to see, and it's very detailed, and all case managers can view it. It's evidence-based, and it's linked back to CASEL, which are the Collaborative for Academic, Social, and Emotional Learning Standards, which align with Wisconsin's social emotional learning competencies, and it has built-in accommodations, so it can be translated, it can read aloud, and it can be differentiated to the needs of the students, which is awesome too, since we have various learning needs building. So these are just some topics that ORI learning for career employment readiness, social, emotional, and behavioral well-being, and skills for independence. And it goes into the different social emotional categories of all the different units that ORI learning has. So I just wanted to do a quick demonstration so you can see how easy. Honestly, the biggest thing that sold me is that not too long ago I left the classroom and I had to piecemeal a lot of my SEL instruction together. And when I did implement curriculum resources, whether it was a core resource or a supplemental, I wanted something easy and something that I could individualize to the various students. And this did it, and the bonus is they'll train our staff here, and that means we can work on it over the summer, so they're not coming in August trying to learn a new resource, which is key for our teachers. We want them to have access to this sooner. So the various courses are on here. And you can click, oh, how do we learn about responsible decision making? And it has all the key components of good instruction. So it has a unit, and it has pre-course assessment, so it's a pre-assessment and a post-assessment to really look at that data. And then it has the units with lessons that you can click on, which include a lesson plan, so it's easy to implement. It's one pager, and then it has the different activities as well. And what's really cool that our teachers really liked is it's not one size fits all. So there's a lot of, writing stuff that's short and sweet. There's videos, there's drop downs, and it's all different per unit, and it's not the same thing for each lesson that you go through. So it's really interactive and great for kids, and some of our teachers even went a next step further to try it with the small group of kids that they currently work with to make sure that it would be responsive to the needs of the kids, and said nothing but positive things. So I wanted to present this because right now we're currently in the early development stages of implementing this, working with ORI and working with our staff, and wanted to make sure that you guys didn't have any questions and kind of had an overview of that resource.
Is this web-based that they utilize it on the web?
Yes.
Okay.
It is web-based, but you can print the resources so that they can be paper for kids that need that. And you can assign it in the ORI module, or you can assign it through like Google Classroom, through the different Google platform. Great question. Any other questions?
Is there a way to assess how effective this is, like over time?
Yeah, that's a great question. So full transparency, I heard about this from our school social worker who was looking at it and wanted to do it on a larger scale, and I wanted to start really, really small with our special ed group, specifically so we can measure the impact. So what this does is every single activity that a student does, it takes the data, if you do it online, and it reports on it. So you can see the beginning scores and then the post scores, and then we're gonna have informed conversations of like, is this really addressing the needs? So like, if we're teaching about responsible decision making, are those skills carrying over to the classroom? Is a kid making good choices and making show up to class on time, saying respectful things, and so on and so forth. So we'll be looking at that ORI data that it gives us, but then we, as a special ed department, actually have weekly team problem-solving meetings, where then we'll integrate this and say, okay, we noticed that Joe needs some instruction on this. How is that current data from ORI? But then we also have a lot of those conversations informally as a team to make sure it's actually working. Great question.
Will your teachers be able to pull, let's say that kid that just has a bad day,
Yeah.
is that able to be pulled out of the data, how they answer the questions and stuff? Potentially?
That's a good question. So I think there's a lot of components of ORI that we're going to learn. It's mainly a curriculum resource,
Okay.
but the goal is, because there's progress monitoring, there is the ability to individualize certain things and set weekly goals. Like if you're really working on saying respectful things to your teacher, there are ways where kids can write weekly goals, and then we can integrate that in our progress monitoring, whether it's through ORI or some of our teachers do Google Forms or other pieces. That's kind of the goal. This is, I think, where I want to get more details about how kids are doing and putting all those pieces together. So I think ORI will do some of that, and then we'll fill in the gaps with other things that we use or we can use to better collect that data. Great question, too.
And board members, if you're not aware, students with disabilities have goals written into their IEP, and this provides a resource to help them meet those goals and also to monitor the progress toward those.
Fantastic.
Any other questions?
Thank you, Mrs. Drew.
Thank you.
Okay, athletics and activities participation report.
All right, I'd like to invite Mr. Christensen, our Athletics and Activities Director, to the podium to give his annual report.
How's everybody doing today? I apologize, I have a little bit of a cold, so, out there. A couple things as we go along. First of all, we have kind of a, we'll do a couple of things. We'll look at the top 10 activities, as we go here. Pep band is actually number 1. In our participation, there's 123 students in pep band. That actually is the vocal band. That's not the vocal band. It's the ensemble, and we could not get a picture of all 123 kids. They are in a couple of different pictures. So this is the biggest band we have that's not part of the pep band. Our top 10 biggest football, track and field, future educators, which is not, it's Educators Rising now. NHS and our Green Thumbs group. There's also another, quite a few more that are at that 35 to 40 range that we're just below that. So lots of good numbers that way. The best news is our participation rate in co-curriculars and after-school stuff is higher than it's been since COVID. So the kids are coming back and participating at a much higher rate than it was before. If you see the female participation rate of all of the students in school, there's 69.6%, or the males are 67.7%, which gives us an overall percentage of 68.7% of our kids are active in some way, shape, or form in co-curriculars. Love to see that number go up. I have a couple of things at the end that I'll talk about that might be good ways to try to increase our participation rates. A couple of ideas that'll try to hopefully get the kids more involved. But right now, this is where we're at, which is great. Multiple participation rates is something that we look at in some of our data reporting, and true rates of kids that are in multiple activities has a direct correspondence of whether they're going to go on to college or and they're going to be career ready as far as that goes as well. But the female rate is 46.7%. The male rate was 35.2, which again is 40.8, which is higher than last year's number of 39.7. So that number keeps going up. If you look at the next slide, it'll talk about participation by class. That's kind of honky right there. It didn't slide over from my slide, but as you can see, the freshman participation rate was 74.8 this year, which was just down a hair from last year's group. Can you guys see that better on yours? On your end? Okay, we're gonna have to try to fix that in some way, shape, or form. But the biggest participation class is always the freshmen, but interestingly enough, the seniors were the second highest group, which has never been the case
as you see, those are the participation rates, the top one on number 1. That is the participation rate since COVID hit. So it's good.
Do you want me to keep going?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I will share with you, make sure you guys get those right numbers on there too. So, there are a couple other highlights as you saw here. Acadec is going to nationals. They're leaving Wednesday afternoon or Wednesday, headed to Iowa for their next shot. Mr. Strakowski was a little disappointed. The old Acadec nationals threw a little fastball at him, and they said all of the highest ranking scores are in Division I this year, so it's not based on how big your school is, it's based on what your score was, so he's not as confident that they'll bring home a D2 title like they will, because now they're in D1, but they still think he's gonna do really well there. The musical greets, I know a lot of you guys attended that, awesome show. It actually set attendance records in our theater. It's the first time we've ever had a musical or anything we had over 2,000. I believe we ended up somewhere around like 2,400 people that came to see the show. So hands off to Miss Ivan and her group. They are just absolutely fantastic, and look forward to seeing what they're gonna do next year. We also have some individual accomplishments. Esports made it to state for the 2nd year in a row. HOSA is sending 3 of those young ladies in there to nationals. They just got back last week, so Miss Yoke was still waiting on some of those names. So they're ended up getting 3 of those young ladies there. And then on Thursday this week as well, Jake Keating will be heading to national for his DECA competition. HOSA is for health occupations. DECA is for the business world over there. We also had the equestrian team qualify for state for the first time in about 25 years, and one of our shooting teams, the trap team, I believe, took 2nd in state as well. So lots of really cool things going on with each of those groups and on the state level. So we also had our signing days. We had six athletes this year sign for going to various places. We had 3 football players up there, 2 baseball players, and a softball player. All going on to different places. We celebrate those guys on a regular basis. This year we brought them all together in February, so it's a really cool experience for those kids. We also had St. Baldrick's. I know some of you were here for that. We turned this into the Key Club started this all. Miss Luxem as well as Samantha Keating were really the heads of this whole thing. We ended up raising $20,000 for cancer research. We had a school assembly during the day. Mr. Hedstrom, Mr. Fabian, Mr. Danis were 3 of the ones the students could come and actually shave their heads. And then that night, we had a basketball game against Burlington, and we had, I think, 52 people shave their heads. I shaved my head that day, nobody knew it, but I was one of the 52 that were there, but just a really, really neat experience as far as that goes as well. So, other highlights, the seniors parking spots were brought out. First time we have tried this. We wanted to do it in a way, and I'll give kudos to all of the people, including the Booster Club that worked on this. We wanted to do it in a way that wasn't costly to kids. We didn't want to make it a situation where it was the haves versus the have-nots, so we literally charged them for the cost of paint. It was pretty much what we charged them for. At other schools, they use it as a fundraiser. I didn't want to do that because of the fact that I don't want it to be the haves versus the have-nots. I want it to be something neat for the students to have an experience of. So the Booster Club worked very hard with that. Mr. Square was involved in that on that day, but turned out to be a really cool experience. We had our first ever Letterman's jacket go to a special ed, Special Olympian, and that's Duncan there. If you haven't met Duncan, he is a proud Wilmot kid, young man. He was wearing that coat. I don't know if he's taking it off yet. Has he happy? He wears it every day. He was part of we had 2 Parade of Champions. He was part of the Parade of Champions that day. If you didn't see that now, we bring the drum line in and recognize, like, he was along with the wrestlers that brings out our student activity groups. We've had football, we've had volleyball, we've had the educators group go out there, the FA group, and go to the elementary schools and work with those kids. It's something that we wanted to thought process as far as activities going forward. All of a sudden lately, we have a big push for flag football for girls. There was a huge interest. The first year we did powder puff, so I see that as basically becoming a club sport in some way, shape, or form. So it's something that a lot of girls were really interested in when we did the powder puff, and it's starting to take hold. It would be great if we could bring intramurals back, not just basketball, but volleyball and especially pickleball. I have lots and lots of kids asking about pickleball. All activities that cost a little bit of money to have some leadership in there, but that would be great there. We've also built on our sports leadership group, and would be great to, those kids have really taken off, so we want to try to get a little bit more support there. But 3 more things that we can do to get kids more involved in school and attached with that. So it would be great to move that forward going on, but we'll leave that to Coach Square. All right, thanks, Matt.
Thank you.
I want to compliment Mr. Christensen, Mrs. Ramirez Johnson, the administrative assistant in the office, all of our coaches and our advisors. You know, we really have a tremendous co-curricular program here for a school our size, more than 30 clubs, almost every sport that's offered in Wisconsin. And there's a lot that goes to managing a program that big, and they've done a nice job. As you can see, participation is increasing. Our graduation rate's increasing, our test scores are increasing, our attendance is getting better slowly, but all these things are related. You know, that co-curricular program, when you get kids involved, we know the research shows that they do better in school and they're more likely to show up. So it's a big part of what we do here, and I just wanted to say thank you and recognize you for the hard work there, Herm.
Just to let you know, Herm, you had for Wilmot Gun Club, you did have one young man finish first in skeet and sporting clays for the state in his division.
Very cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he's my grandson, so. That's why I knew. It's a lot of walking.
All right, public comments. Okay, and we'll move on to items for discussion and possible action. First one will be the appointment of the new district administrator to start July 1st, 2025.
So this is very exciting. District, Mrs. Christy Weinstock, who's here with us tonight. Returning to Wilmot, we say coming back home. She was the chief academic officer and associate principal before leaving to go to Salem to be the director of pupil services, and now currently the principal of the K-8 building. So extensive experience, multiple licensure areas, so able to support the district in a lot of different ways. And I'm looking forward to working with her and helping with the transition in any way I can over the next 2.5 months, even into her tenure, kind of as needed.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve the appointment of Christy Weinstock as the new district administrator?
Go for it.
I will make a motion.
I'll second.
All right. Any further discussion? All right, then I would like to have a roll call vote. Let me back out of this so I can get back to all the names. Okay, Michael Faber,
Yes.
Amy Regner,
Yes.
Melissa Samborski,
Yes.
Loriano Camacho,
Yes.
Michael Matz,
Yes.
Betsy Ross,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Congratulations. Okay, the next thing is, I need a motion to approve the employment contract for Mrs. Weinstock. Excuse me.
I make a motion to approve the employment contract for district administrator.
I second it. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, thank you. Now we'll go on to the designation of CISA 2 delegate.
Okay, so every year, CISA 2 has a Board of Control Delegate Convention. It's usually in the middle of June. This year, it's on Tuesday, June 17th. We typically send one member of our board to represent us. for voting purposes. So looking for a nomination for the CISA 2 delegate.
If you're going to, go ahead.
I nominate Wayne Tronjo.
I'll second.
I can do it. I did it last year.
Well, Betsy wants to do it.
Well, then Betsy can do
So-
it. I thought she was gonna give it to you.
To be honest, it is really a good opportunity to go. You meet everybody from all over.
So with the motion made and with the approval made, do you go forward or is it declined?
Do you accept?
You'd have
Do you
to,
accept
you'd
it?
have to decline it, Wayne.
Well, if you wanna go, I'll decline it.
I can go. You do all this other stuff, so I have no
Okay,
problem
all right,
stepping
all
up
right,
to
you
the
can-
plate. But someone's gotta nominate me now.
Then
So
you,
officially you
I
decline?
nominate Betsy.
no, you first you have to officially decline it,
Yes.
I
Wayne.
did.
Say no thank you.
I didn't hear you.
Yeah, listen, I did.
Okay,
Okay, so I declined it, I nominated Betsy. Somebody needs
I
a second.
second it.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion? Okay. All those in favor of Betsy being the CISA 2 delegate?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? I didn't think there would be. Okay. Designation of the WASB delegate.
Okay, different delegate, but same purpose, represent the interests of the district. This one is for the State Education Convention in Milwaukee. That convention is held January 21st to the 23rd. You would not need to attend the whole thing, but I believe the convention, or the delegate convention assembly will be held on Wednesday the 21st. So looking for a nomination for that. I know Mr. Tronjo has served in that role for many, many years now and has done an admirable job.
I nominate Wayne Tronjo. 'cause
I
he's
second
doing
it.
Such a great job.
Do you accept?
Yeah, I'll do that one. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Okay, the 2025-2026 Board of Education meeting calendar. Oh, excuse me, we gotta do the annual meeting first.
Yep, so, recall once a year, we have an annual meeting, typically in September. The purpose is we are looking to hold that meeting on Monday, September 22nd. The proposed time is 5 o'clock, that's an hour earlier than we've done in the past. It's usually a very short meeting. I think we held it in less than 20 minutes last year. So, I'm proposing that we do it a little bit earlier in the evening.
I will make a motion, we accept Monday, September 22nd for our annual meeting date at 5 o'clock.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Now we'll do the Board of Education meeting calendar.
Okay, so I've got a recommended meeting calendar here for the next 12 months. This calendar is based on one working session, either the first or second Monday of the month, and one regular board meeting, either the third or fourth Wednesday. And it varies because of holidays and other events that we have here at school. Generally, we have working sessions at 4:30 and regular board meetings at 6. Those are also up to the board. Those times can be changed if you would prefer. So looking at the draft here, these are the proposed dates, working sessions in green and regular meetings in blue. The lone orange date is the annual meeting that you just approved. So, are there any questions about the board meeting calendar?
It's all right with everybody? Do I have a motion to approve it as presented?
I make a motion to approve the 2025-2026 Board of Education meeting calendar as presented.
I'll second.
All right, any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay. 2025-2026 Chromebooks and warranty purchase.
Yeah, so this is a little bit earlier than we had planned due to uncertainty in the market. I'd like to invite our Director of Instructional Technology, Mr. Nick Heisley to talk about this purchase.
It's like the first time you've ever introduced me. That was super formal.
We've got some people who've never been to a meeting here, so.
Yeah, so in all of the executive summaries I've ever written, I'm not sure the word tariff would have ever appeared before. So here I am, a couple months earlier than normal, looking to lock in some prices for next year's Chromebooks already before we run into what could be supply chain shortages, which we've probably heard a couple years ago during the pandemic. But this time around, it's price increases, so we're trying to lock in before that happens. So enclosed are two different quotes, one for the 250 Chromebooks to meet the needs of what we anticipate being 239 enrolled freshmen so far. So we usually kind of pad in about 10%-ish just for breaks and additional enrollments across 4 years. And then the warranty for those 4 years. The cost of the warranty will match the length of time that we intend to use these devices with our students, and then after 4 years upon graduation, we will sell off those devices, try to recoup some of the dollars on that purchase. Prior to last year, we were rolling over devices and taking devices out of seniors' hands, giving them back to freshmen and trying to get more than 4 years out of them, and needless to say, it was probably really financially responsible, but the devices essentially just fell apart. They don't make it longer than 4 years in a high school backpack, backseat of a car, trunk, wherever they end up falling. So we are rolling through for 4 years going forward. Questions, comments, complaints?
What would be the difference between the before and after?
Funny that you ask. So currently, we are looking at paying this price of $300, which is $5 more than we paid last year for our devices. And we can only purchase, and they're gonna honor, in which case the new pricing comes up. Heard no more than an hour ago with the new pricing that I shared, it's gone up to $413 a device, so a 38% increase in the device if we don't get in on this batch of devices that we're looking to get in. There's currently 8,882 devices that they currently have in stock, so I feel that 250 of them shouldn't be an issue if I make this purchase going forward tomorrow. So essentially 250 at that increase is roughly $30,000 difference currently on the state CISA contract. The state of affairs we're in.
It will have a choice, I guess. I don't think there is a choice.
There's obviously many things that we look to purchase closer to the beginning of the year. This is an item that we are going to go forward with anyways. So we purchase now, pay for in the 25-26 year. So we will essentially pay on net 30 terms and pay that bill come July 1st.
So we gotta change the unit price to 400 and,
Nope.
no?
If that price does not work and I can't get these devices in for $300, I will be back here next month with a different price for you.
But they could be $500, or they could be $600 by then.
That's possible.
So,
So I'm
You already-
tomorrow morning.
wait a minute. Don't put words in my mouth. You already said that they were already, you assume that they're already up to 400 and some dollars, right?
That's correct. They
So
are-
why would we not
no, they're
go for the
honoring this quote.
480 right now?
Because
Mike, they're honoring this quote that I'm giving you right now.
You're sure they're gonna honor it?
Well, I'm not gonna spend $413 without your approval. And I'm not gonna guarantee that right now, so I will be back. If this does not work, I will come back with an updated.
But that's why I would like to amend it to not go above the 413, so you don't have to come back, because by the time you get back to us, it could be 513, is what I'm getting at.
That is true. We also didn't budget for that dollar amount either, so we would have to,
Sooner,
yeah.
as another board member said, we're gonna bite it one way or the other, and I'd rather bite it at 413.
Okay.
The board can amend this to a not to exceed amount, and then, we can, if you can't get the $300 price, we can communicate, we can watch it, we can make a decision when the time comes. It doesn't have to be tomorrow. But we probably don't wanna wait a month, I think. is what
No,
you're
I-
suggesting.
yeah.
That's,
8 AM tomorrow.
that was the only thing, bud.
Okay. Yeah.
This is unfortunate, but the market is very, there is so much volatility right now that we price something right now and 3 days later it's just inflated and even worse.
Right.
So it's absolutely,
So, yeah, this is the information I had
as of today.
as of an hour ago, it's still being valid, so as we talked last week and into, this week, if we had any information that was different than what you were given last week, then we would change that, but as of an hour ago, we're still golden, so.
Okay, so do we have a motion to approve this?
I make a motion. do
I'll
it.
second.
Hold on, I have to specify it.
Yeah.
I make a motion to accept the 2025 Chromebooks and warranty purchase as presented, but also in the opportunity that the Chromebooks have risen, we will not exceed $413 per Chromebook.
I'll second.
All right, any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Keisley, lock it in tonight.
Send the purchase order tonight.
Thanks, Nick.
Hit send.
I think you could sell cars too.
No.
All right, the 2025-2026 school meal prices.
Okay, so good news here. I had a conversation with Kate Lucchese at Taher, and they are not increasing any of their school meal prices for next year. So that's exciting. This is really just information only. We don't need an approval for this, but I did want to share with the board. I've also included the price list from this year so that you can see what it costs to eat here.
Do they have hot dogs?
And we do
Nice.
have the
Yeah,
best
hot dog
food
here.
service of any place that I've ever worked.
Yes, you
The
do.
food here is
It's
really
yummy.
good for a school. So
There's cookies though.
we saw a lot of cookies and ice cream sundaes.
And hot dogs.
Really? We don't have none.
Emily, don't
Okay.
believe everything you hear.
We'll move on to the 2025.
School fees for the upcoming school year. They've been increased a couple times in the last couple of years, and we want to give families a little bit of relief now on the inflation, so keeping the fees flat as well.
Thank God.
So you can see what they are.
Move to approve.
I'm sorry, who made the motion on the
It's just
previous
information, right?
No, these need to be approved.
This is to be approved.
the previous need?
And you approved, Mike?
Mike made a motion.
Okay,
I second.
any further discussion?
Mike, yeah.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay. Now, I need a motion to convene into closed session to discuss and take action if appropriate concerning employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility under Wisconsin statute 19.85, sub 1, sub C.
I make a motion to go into closed session.
I'll second.
Okay, we need a roll call vote. I'm gonna get back to that again. Okay, Mike Faber,
Yes.
Amy Regner,
Yep.
Melissa Samborski,
Yes.
Mariano Camacho,
Yes.
Michael Matz,
Yes.
Betsy Ross,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Okay, Now I need a motion to approve the addendum to the teacher's contract as discussed in closed session.
I make a motion to approve the addendum to the individual teacher contract presented in closed session.
I'll second.
All right, any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, now, go ahead.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Oh.
Aye.